Welcome back. Part 1 of fixing the Rolls-Royce. I needed to get a suction cup to pull the center cap off because apparently that's how it's done. So I have a bunch of these from fixing iMacs at work. And yep, that's exactly how you do it. So they look like standard good old BMW 17s. Go grab an impact real quick. I would love to take this apart and figure out what kind of bearing that is. There are the part numbers if anyone ever needs this stuff. Cap was manufactured in 2004. Wow. So those sat around for a while before this thing was made. So the caliper is absolutely massive, as are pretty much all of the components. There is a sway bar. Okay. So I'm going to need to get in here and wrestle with all my hands to see exactly where this noise is coming from. But unfortunately, I'm thinking this air strut back here is completely shot. Doesn't look like it's going to be very hard to replace. I do see an air line right up here. And there's the sensor for the level. Everything looks and feels great down there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with air strut. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I guess I'll get one of those ordered. This sound deadening is absolutely incredible. It's regular BMW stuff, but there's so much of it. A little dirty in there. Well, I feel better knowing that none of the ball joints are like falling apart quite literally. So get an air strut going and hopefully that fixes, well, the majority of its issue. So she's slammed right now. And honestly, the rest of the car kind of adjusted too since I had it on a jack. So let's cold start it. And by cold, I mean 92 degrees. I can feel it rising. Barely audible. Oh guys, we are back at her. I have the new air strut. Just ripped the wheel back off of this car and sized everything up. So it looks like, I can't remember, I think the airline's actually a 12, which is really strange for a BMW. 17 to get the wheel off, and then it's an 8mm Allen for the little set nuts on the back. So first things first for me, I'm going to take both of those set screw ends out. One on this side, and there's one over here as well. After that, I will be taking off that little 12 right there. Also, wow, I see that this has a rebuild sticker on it already from 2013. That's hilarious. Holy crap. Okay, anyway. Wow, okay. And then after that, it'll be airline. I've already depressurized the system. That is incredible. These things apparently are horse shit. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can compress it by hand enough to get the base of it over here. So I can actually get enough, possibly some vertical room to get the upper out. But this is going to be a learning experience. Obviously, I'll have to open the hood at some point to get at those 13s on the top mount, which I assume are 13s. Pull the airlines, just a 12, nothing special. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if I can pop that loose now. Sorry, pop that loose. All right, so let it be known that I'm both simultaneously proud of and not proud of this engineering. So it's a short pry bar into the flat on the air strut. And then I was able to smack this ball joint just enough to get it to loosen up. So now I can push this over, ideally, and let the jack down, and the air strut should decompress. Not what I wanted to do. I gotta move it now, shoot. I found the clunk. That's kind of terrifying. Wow. That, that shattered the thing right clean off. I'm glad I held off on driving this more than I had to. I do have to take the clip off the top here to get the electronic portion on the seat, but this makes a lot of sense. And actually the strut inside probably isn't bad, but we got very lucky that this stayed inside of the top mount, essentially. Oh no, it looks like it broke one of the studs off. That's too bad. I'll have to think about how to fix with that. But anyway, let's get this taken apart, and then we'll get the old one removed, we'll look at it, and we'll stab the new one in. I've got to hold this up so you can see it. I can make it completely pop out. This is disgustingly terrible. Just gross. I don't think that's good as a rebuildable core anymore, and honestly I think this might have been partially why it failed. I don't know how many times this could potentially have been rebuilt, but I have to call these guys, be like, I think you used too many ugga-duggas on this bad boy. Either way, the new one does not have that issue. It does have an electrical connector. I'm not terribly surprised to see that. This is essentially a hollow bolt, so it's got a lot of stress on it. But yeah, I'll get this thrown up into the chassis and we'll see what we can do. So the new strut is very, very strong. Just the actual strut portion of it. The old one is obviously completely blown out as well. So it's going to be a combination of dropping the knuckle and the ball joint and raising that strut, which is starting to get and feel really sketchy, but anything without, splitting the actual lower control arm off on the lift, which I might still have to do, although moving this car is going to be pretty difficult at this point. So I guess I could pop the upper ball joint, which actually looks really rinky-dink, and just drop the whole assembly down. That would probably give me enough room. Then I could just put a jack under it, jack it up, get the ball joint back in place. I'm not sure yet, but we'll get it figured out. Okay, upper ball joint and the end link. That's enough. Well, I used a good old ratchet strap to get that preloaded so I could reset it. I think I've got the eccentric pretty much where it was. It's actually a spline shaft with an upper and a lower eccentric, and then it's got a 17 mil like jam nut on top. I did tighten up the airline because when I compressed this axle, the air compressor actually kicked in the car and started pumping it up. So either way, the lower's in. You can see it. End link's back on. I just have to tighten up the top. Let this ratchet strap out. Just like that. And I suppose I had to put this back in the little clip here too. Everything should be good though. Just a couple 13s and 10s up top. Not really sure if I'll be able to do anything about that, unfortunately, but oh well. Excellent.